And on the Illinois side of the river, it's been a busy few weeks with lawmakers back in Springfield for the new legislative session. So as laws move through both the House and the Senate, we're going to do a weekly breakdown for you on what's happening. It's going to be on Mondays right here on The Current. And joining us now with all things Illinois politics is Ben Szalinski, reporter for Capital News Illinois. Ben, it's been a busy week. Why don't we start with the law that Governor Pritzker just signed? What is the dignity and pay law?
Yeah, Governor Pritzker signed a law earlier this week that makes Illinois the 19th state to phase out what is known as the sub-minimum wage. And this is basically a federal exemption that states can receive that allow businesses or other similar organizations to pay people with severe disabilities, often intellectual or developmental disabilities, less than minimum wage for doing a job. Now, these jobs can be something as simple as, putting paper in a paper shredder, for example. But under this proposal, Illinois will be phasing this out within the next 5 years. And disability rights organizations say this is a good step forward to showing that people with disabilities, they have just as much dignity as any other able-bodied person, and they deserve to be paid fairly for this.
All right, so that law signed into action. You were, of course, also doing a lot of reporting on the reaction to President Trump's inauguration. What were you seeing in Springfield?
Yeah, quite a wide variety of reactions. A lot of Republicans are viewing this as sort of a new day in the United States, an opportunity for their agenda to be moved forward at the federal level. They think President Trump's administration will be good for the state and good for the country with lower grocery prices, different things to benefit conservatives. But Democrats, understandably, are back and very frustrated by what they've seen already in Donald Trump's first week in office. Governor Pritzker has held several news conferences this past week where he's fielded questions on immigration, on the lack of communication with Donald Trump's administration. And Democrats are really expressing a lot of frustration at some of it is the whirlwind speed that we see executive actions being taken in Washington, but also Governor Pritzker's unhappy that the Trump administration hasn't communicated with Illinois regarding ICE raids that have begun to happen in Chicago this week.
Yeah, let's talk about that. We spoke about it briefly a few minutes ago, but tell us what's happening with ICE raids in Illinois.
Yeah, a lot of the details remain unclear, but what we do know is yesterday, Tom Homan, who is Donald Trump's border czar, who is in charge of a lot of things related to national security and immigration, he was in Chicago yesterday to work with ICE agents under his command and participate in some of these raids against undocumented immigrants. A lot of what it seems we have seen so far has been specifically targeted at people who have a criminal record and are in the United States illegally because they're undocumented. Governor Pritzker has said he supports these kinds of actions. He's said he's more than okay with the federal government deporting violent undocumented individuals, even in Illinois. But the concern for a lot of Democrats, and especially a lot of Chicago residents, is that these raids are going to expand beyond people with a criminal record and are going to target law-abiding people who their only real issue is that they are in the United States without proper documentation.
Well, Ben, while that's been the big headline this week, the other big topic was education. Before I let you go, what's happening in Springfield when it comes to that?
Yeah, Governor Pritzker has had this policy that he rolled out last year to improve the number of seats available in preschools. And this week he announced that there's going to be more than 5,000 publicly funded preschool seats made available in the state of Illinois. This is through his Smart Start education program, which is designed to reduce the number of preschool deserts we see in the state, which don't just happen in rural areas. They also happen in a lot of urban areas where preschool education is just not readily available. And the governor is announcing that there's going to be more seats available to parents in the coming year to kind of roll out more early childhood education initiatives that has been a top priority for Governor Pritzker since he took office.
Ben, you're a busy man. We appreciate your reporting and all that you're following down in Springfield.
Thanks, Shelby.
Of course, you guys at home can check out more of Ben's reporting and from the rest of the Capital News Illinois team by heading over to WQAD.com and clicking on the As Seen on TV tab.